Heyo everyone! Hexi here. This week, rather than talking about an old game from my past, I'm going to be talking about an idea I had for a game that doesn't exist yet. I'm thinking some sort of synthwave, like neon, shooter, driver, arcade game. I haven't thought of a name for it, but that's pretty much what I'm going for. I figure if Ross can talk for 45 minutes about how he wants better 3D Ripper software, I can probably talk for 5 or 10 minutes about a game that I really like to play. So the main draw of the gameplay is going to be the shooting sections, which I'm imagining are going to be a lot like Receiver. In Receiver, you have to maintain your gun in order to have enough bullets to actually take care of the enemies. Being careless can get you killed, so you want to make sure that you keep your gun loaded at all times. And in order to do that, you gotta pull out the magazine, inspect how many bullets are in the case, and then put it back in. And if you're missing any, I'm imagining you could hold the magazine with one hand and click bullets into it with the other. And then if you need to eject bullets from a magazine that you find on the ground or something, you could hold the magazine and click it with the hand that you're holding it with to eject the bullets. It's a lot more intuitive than Receiver's default controls with all the keyboard buttons because it's in VR. And for revolvers, I'm imagining that you could just push the chamber out, eject the shells with your finger, or push them all out with an ejector rod. And then you would just click them back in one at a time. The bullets will be indicated by some sort of counter at the top of the screen, most likely. Sort of like a HUD for GTA or for Receiver. I know that this sort of gameplay can work in VR because I've been to Ao Inu's shooting lab. And in that one, you can pull the magazines out and reload them by clicking. And then you just put them back in, which is convenient, but it's not much of a gameplay hook. Or there's his other shooting lab where you fight against squads of AI. So you could even have AI enemies in VR chat, though this particular game doesn't necessarily have to be a world in VRC. I'm just using these as examples, since it's what I know. Once you're done with a shooting mission, you can then hop in your car and drive towards a synthwave sunset, which I imagine needs to always be on the horizon. So it'll probably have to be bound to like the player's HUD or their rotation somehow, so it's always in front of them. I'm thinking that'll probably be a bit disorienting at first, but after a while you should be able to get used to it. I'm imagining something like the game Retrowave, where you're constantly driving down a road through a neon city. And there's a big ol' sunset on the horizon, and you're passing neon palm trees. And another thing about synthwave sunsets. No one ever gets them right. I hardly ever see them animated. They're supposed to have these lines that go up, and that symbolizes heat rising as well as VHS scan lines. And sometimes I see the lines going down, but most often I just see the sunset with lines through it, and they just stay static, and it's kind of disappointing. And I'm imagining you could get into some car-based shootouts along the way, maybe. You'd probably have to disable the reloading during these sections, since reloading during a car chase is probably going to be a bit too hectic. Though instead you could introduce a mechanic like Time Crisis, where you have to duck behind the steering console to avoid getting shot. I really like the alternative joystick control scheme from Zombie Go-Karts in VRC. That one allows you to control the pitch and yaw of your go-kart while it's in the air with one joystick and control the steering with the other one. That way, you can always land on your wheels as you're flying through the air. Another game I like the controls of are the drifting controls from a game called Inertial Drift. And that allows you to slide around corners by controlling the front of your car with one joystick and the back of your car with another. That way you can just slide around those corners and twist on a dime. I'm sure there's got to be an intuitive way to combine those two control schemes so that you can drift when you're on the ground and twist while you're in the air and have a shooty bang bang Grand Theft Auto good time. Then after a driving mission, you can choose whether you want to go on another shooting mission or go to the mall, where you can hang out with your assassin friends or buy upgrades for your guns or apparel for your avatar. Or you can hit the arcade and play a bunch of retro games like shoot 'em ups, fighting games, or coin-op games, where you can win tickets to get bonus prizes. And then once you've had your fill of chilling out at the mall, you can go and do another driving stage to get to another shooting stage, shoot some guys, make more money, drive back to the mall, spend your cash on more upgrades, get more powerful, have more fun at the arcades, eat pizza in the food court or something, to restore your health. Overall, I think it's a pretty engaging gameplay loop I've designed. I just haven't seen anything like that with the retro synthwave aesthetic, and I think that there's a niche market waiting to be filled with this game. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening to my idea for my dream game. Here's hoping one of you with more programming skills is able to make it a reality. Feel free to steal my idea. I don't need any credit. I just want to be able to play this synthwave first-person shooter driving retro arcade simulator. Anyways, that's all I've got time for this week. Ciao for now. And Hexi, out. Thanks go out to my Patreon supporters. Your donations mean the world to me, and I thank you for supporting my future endeavors.